Hey everyone, welcome back to the Carter James Ranch. Hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving. Here it is Friday afternoon, the day after Thanksgiving. We were rotating the cattle around and we came to an area where I had put a bale of hay about a week and a half ago, just because we were supposed to get some snow. I wasn't sure how much snow we'd get, so I figured I'd put some hay out just in case. Plus we're in this back pasture and there's not a ton of grass back here. It was clipped late this year. I think it was clipped in September, and this is where we had those younger calves continually graze it all summer. So not a lot of great quantity of grass back here, but we're rotating these guys around, and I wanted to move them, and I was curious to see how many of them would go for the hay versus how many would be out grazing. So obviously you can see that the lion's share of the cattle went for the hay. I also thought over the next few weeks, they're only going to be here for tonight, so I thought I'd see how much of this bale they would eat. Then we'll be continuing to move around the back side of the ranch. But I also just figured it'd be better to keep them full and keep their condition good. Probably a lot easier to keep them full, or get them full early and keep them, than try to play catch up. So they seem to be doing pretty well, but I actually thought that a few more would go to grazing. But they're smashing the hay. That's all right. This is number 96. She grabbed herself a bite of hay. She's just a tank. She's a South Pole. She is just a tank. She's a nice cow though. See, she's 6 years old. She's got real kind eyes. This is actually the closest she's ever let me get to her. So she is getting used to being here and part of the herd. It's a little bull calf. I need to come up with a name for him. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with him too. We do have a bull being delivered here in a few weeks. That is just be a couple of months older than him. But he seems to be real small. I don't know why. I think he was born in, I guess he's only 4 months old. He's only 4 months old, so he's not that old. But my point being, he's an intact bull, and that little guy over there is an intact bull. So I need to figure out fairly soon here if I'm going to keep them as bulls or make them steers. If I'm going to keep them as bulls, I'll probably be needing to sell them. So these are both, let me think about this. I think they're both, these are both come out of a non-registered South Pole mama, and the bull is a registered South Pole bull. So they'll be 50% registered. But this little guy, I like him the best. That one's got a cute little face. He's got a little white spot on his eye. I think he got, I think before he came to the ranch here, he's getting a little scratch right now. I think he got about a pink eye when he was young this summer, and he's got a little white spot on his left eye, but he's got a cute little face. So yeah, we're just gonna keep grazing back here. One beautiful afternoon, about 55 degrees, and we're just gonna keep grazing. I am a little surprised as many of the cattle went to the hay, but again, I'm new to all this. This is gonna be our first winter. So I didn't really want to have them tear into a bale this early, but that's okay. I'm gonna probably be doing bale grazing. I might unroll some, but I've started putting bales out around the ranch as we graze through. I'm putting bales out so the next time we come back, which will be late December into January. Ideally, I'd like to not be eating too much hay until the end of December. So we're only going to be maybe feeding hay for 2.5 months as we continue to graze. But we'll see if that's doable. We've got stockpiled fescue around the ranch, so we'll be able to graze that. But again, just wanting to make sure we keep the condition on the cattle so they can make sure they stay warm during the cold months here. If you can see over in that pasture over there, started putting some bales out because we just got done grazing that pasture. And then here the next couple days, I'll get some bales put in the back part of this pasture and just kind of put them out as we follow behind the cattle. But been doing a lot of YouTube research on bale grazing versus unrolling hay out. I know this way, especially I did not put a ring around this. They say there's a lot more hay waste, and there's more hay waste when you roll it out. So we'll probably get a ring that we can just rotate around and put around the hay. But I think this first season here on the ranch, we're gonna do bale grazing. I may just try to unroll one bale just to see how it goes and see how that works with the cattle. But everyone's getting their fill. Hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend and enjoy your holiday weekend, and we'll see you in the next one. God bless. Good morning, welcome back to the Carter James Ranch. Back over here, just rolled up the poly wire to give the herd some more grass. When I showed up, probably about 18 of them were kind of all over by the bale of hay that we set up yesterday. There's 4 or 5 of them that were out grazing, and I rolled the wire up, and now it looks like all but 2 of them come over for the fresh grass, even though there was plenty of grass still to eat where they were. I think sometimes they just get excited to look at something new. So they're all venturing out over here. Here comes Sweet. Hey, Sweet. She's covered in hay. It's obviously getting her fill. I was kind of curious to see how much they had eaten this morning. They've had the access to that bale for about 15 hours now. And it's definitely true. There is more hay waste, if you want to call it waste, as far as not being food. The more it gets spread out and trampled. Some people call that waste because it's not going through the animal. Other people will say, you're just spreading nutrients around. But yeah, they definitely, just without having a ring around it, they definitely do spread out quite a bit. So yesterday the bale was much taller than all the animals. Now it's not. I bet you they've eaten 30% of it. And then you can kind of see on the ground how much it gets spread out. But they're starting to hollow it out here. Here's 634. She's our 9-year-old cow. And there's our painted face steer. Boy, I do love the smell of hay. Always smells so sweet. You know what smell it reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of how a Swisher Sweet smells, the cigar. So yeah, glad they were able to get full on that, but we definitely need to keep grazing. Too early for us to be feeding hay still. We need to be having the animals still be eating on this green grass. But for 24 head, 4 of those are calves. I was curious how long a bale of hay would last. So I bet you we'd be 2 to 3 days right now on it, especially if they've got a little bit to graze. Nice cool morning to be grazing. Where they're actually calling for about an inch of rain later today. It's always interesting this time of year when we're heading into winter and they're calling for moisture. Here in Kansas, I always hope that the temperature doesn't get too cold where it turns to ice. I'm hoping that's either, upper 30s or low 40s, or down below freezing so it turns to snow. Because I definitely hate it when we get those ice storms, and it'll be definitely rough on the cattle. So but that's what things look like this morning. Everyone's out roaming around. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you have a great day.